Grandma's Great Knicker Chase by Nanny Linda. The morning started off very simple. Such a nice, sunny, warm, breezy day. Grandma was hanging out her laundry, then the window cleaner called that she had an outstanding bill to pay. She went indoors to find her purse and some cash, nearly tripping up the steps in her hurry, noticing her poor daffodils bending over in their pots, bending this way and that in the wild air's flurry. Today the wind was full of blustery mischief. It huffed and it puffed, boy oh boy how it blew. Then the pegs popped right off the line, knickers taking off with a gust, and into the air they flew. Over the fence and across the back lane, hurtling past old Mr. Brown, sailing like an enormous parachute right through the main street of town. Grandma was mortified and came rushing along, arms flapping, grasping at the air, and shouting and screeching at the top of her voice, "Come back here! That's my very best pair!" They pirouetted past the bakery with such elegance, then got caught on a no waiting sign. Then another gust flicked them like a catapult, causing a seagull to crash into a Douglas fir pine. They landed on Sonia eating her hummus wrap as she sat outside her favourite cafe, who screamed in amazement as the waiter laughed and said, "I bet you didn't expect that to happen today." They chased a cat as it hissed and spat and followed it into the park. The cat seemed to have a panic attack, so hid under a shrub in the dark. A brief moment of rest on the top of the shrub, then again catching the wind as it swirled, and off they twisted like a whirlwind and took off at full pelt as it hurled. The postman saw them coming and ducked, straining his neck when they blew too close to his face. He blushed a vibrant red and let out an embarrassing cough and walked off at a very smart pace. Then they danced past the mayor, who was giving an award to the town gardener outside his park shed, slapping his face in the passing and knocking his hat off his head. A policeman, watching the commotion, laughed so hard he had to sit down for a rest. And all the time, poor old Grandma was still running, feeling more and more stressed. At last they got snagged when the lights turned red on the town's main traffic light, dangling and waving tauntingly. Oh, what a blooming sight! Grandma stood panting, so embarrassed, her dignity absolutely and completely wrecked, as the whole town watched where her knickers had flown, who they had touched, and where they had trekked. With one mighty jump she grabbed them, clutching them to her chest at last. Then she shoved them under her arm and turned to walk home very fast. She tried to push past Mr. Brown as he stood in her path, with a silly smirk on his face. "Very nice knickers, Mavis," he said with a grin. "I particularly like the frilly lace." Grandma muttered, "Oh my," as she let out a giggle. "Next time I'm hanging them up with a lock and a key," and continued her walk, laughing and giggling, and headed home for a nice cup of tea.